Okay, so in this video, we're going to be asking the question, should you buy an iPad or a laptop like most people for school? The issue is that both of these devices have their own upsides and they individually do some things really great, but they're both really expensive and no one's realistically going to spend twice as much money to get the best of both worlds. That's why we're going to go over which one you should get for your personal use case in school. The two devices I'm going to be comparing here are the M2 MacBook Air and the iPad Pro from 2018. So first, let's go over all of the advantages of buying an iPad over a MacBook. Obviously, it's the pencil. This is the main reason, at least for school, why someone would pick up the iPad to be their primary device. And to be honest, it's pretty easy to replace all of your sheets of paper with just an iPad and the Apple Pencil. I wouldn't say it feels like pen and paper because I'll be honest, sometimes I do miss that kind of friction between the pen and paper, but it is something that's comfortable enough to be writing on and taking notes on for a long time. I basically just use it for maths. I don't use it for digital art, and I honestly don't know how much digital art people do when they take art in college. And by the way, GoodNotes is by far the best note-taking app for the iPad. I've also tried Notability and just Apple Notes, but GoodNotes just has the best folder method, which just helps so much with organization, and I also personally think the UI looks good and it's pretty easy to use. You can have folders inside folders inside folders, and then everything's split up into notebooks, and you can choose a specific template you like. It's great. And you've probably also seen the Magic Keyboard for the iPad, which is meant to make it feel like even more of a laptop replacement, but we'll talk about that later. But classic laptops also have their advantages. By the way, if you want a thin and light laptop for school, the best option right now is still probably going to be the M2 MacBook Air, either the 13-inch or the 15-inch that they released recently. You could probably also make a case for the XPS laptops if you're using software that's exclusively on PC, but for most people, the new MacBook Airs are going to be the best option. Mainly just because knowing Apple, they're probably going to last you the longest, and you just get some of the best performance in a laptop. The M2 chip is insanely fast and efficient, so you also do get some of the best battery life in a laptop. The speakers are really good, the new screen update can finally compete with PC laptops now, and it's just my top recommendation. Okay, so what about a laptop is better than an iPad though? It's mainly just that laptops are computers and iPads and tablets are not. The typing experience on the MacBook Air is incomparably better than the typing experience on the iPad. If you're trying to use the iPad with Magic Keyboard case as a replacement for your laptop, your life, especially in school, is just going to be so much more annoying than someone with a normal laptop. Literally in the most simple computer things like file management, there's no Finder or File Explorer on the iPad. In general, if what you're doing at school involves a lot of typing in documents and writing essays or research, you're going to want to get a laptop and just use pen and paper for everything else like maths. Honestly, I recommend everyone doing that unless you don't have to type any long essays at all, which is pretty rare. And I think you should only be getting one if it's not your primary computing device. Because then we need to talk about the price, which is what kind of seals the deal for why buying a laptop is probably going to be a better deal than buying an iPad. The 13-inch MacBook Air starts at $1,150. But if you want the 12.9-inch iPad Pro, which is the one that can at least perform on a somewhat close level with the MacBook Air, then that's going to start at $1,250, which is already more than the MacBook Air. But then that's just the iPad. You're probably also going to want to get the Apple Pencil to at least get the benefits of the iPad, which is another $140. And then you don't even have a keyboard yet, so you're probably going to want to get the Magic Keyboard case to get a decent typing experience, which brings the total to like $1,700, which is just insane. And that's why I also don't recommend just automatically getting an iPad if you want a tablet, because even with the iPad Air, the price can still end up pretty steep. If you've decided to go with the tablet life over a laptop, you should also consider the Samsung Galaxy Tab S8, not the Ultra though, because the Samsung tablets come with pens already, which I've also tried, and that experience is also pretty comparable to the iPads. In some ways it's better because the pen is lighter. I wouldn't say either the Apple Pencil or the S Pen has a necessarily better feel. I think they're both really good options, and that shouldn't be the deciding factor. The deciding factor should be the price. The advantages of the iPad would maybe be app compatibility, because you get things like DaVinci Resolve for the iPad, and generally games are better in iPad world. But as I said, don't get a tablet as your primary computing device just yet. I just don't think they're fully ready to replace laptops. And if you do want a tablet on the side, the iPad Air and the Galaxy Tab S8 are going to be the best value options right now. Otherwise, just use pen and paper. Huge thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.